as well. So going into Cursed Hollow for game 3 will be first pick going over to GLuck. They will ban the Gray main instead of the Hanzo this time, leaving a Shimada Bro open.
A smart choice. Hanzo is open. Either Hanzo or even Tyrael I would like to see, but no.
I didn't want to see this either.
No, I did not want to see this from GLuck. Ace is going to be happy.
Yeah, this is going to be another potential fail game out of Relic. Not because he's playing poorly, but he's trying to do what he can, and he just keeps getting denied by the Tyrael. They have left Tyrael open. How much do you want to bet we see Tyrael in this rotation? Like, it's a pretty high chance, GLuck. And the question is, with whom? Uther? No, they're going to take Hanzo. Arguably even better.
Yep. Those scatter arrow will basically hit everyone in those small choke points. Lots of walls to press that D button and just jump over that wall for Hanzo. It's going to be an easy escape for himself too. I think this is a better one. If they wanted to ban Greymane, I mean, they should have at least picked up Hanzo.
Yeah.
Either one of Hanzo or Tyrael would have been fine. Maybe they're thinking something else.
I think the answer for Genji has been Tyrael. And I'm not sure that they realize what that means. And camera again here on Milky Way, as will he just lock in a Nubrak as he's done in this rotation in both games 1 and 2? It's been a pretty weak performance out of him, and sure, they won the second game on the Anubrak, but it wasn't through his merits, you could argue. It was mostly Saron's on the Thrall and some of the really cool setups that he provided there with the Stukov that they drafted. So, going to be completely different this time, though. We are going to see the Dahaka come in for the first time in the series with Anubrak. So, strong solo laner in a different way, more for pushing, more for extra soaking than for winning team fights.
The bug set duo with the Haka on the solo lane. Nubara going to get the cocoon. It worked okay. They did get that cocoon after a while onto Gamey, trapping Tyrael down. Did get that sanctification down for some time. But they have to get their own focusing right. They have to get a kill when that cocoon is happening, or at least some kind of damage so one is out of the team fight, the entire picture there. Stukov going to be banned from Ace.
I think the Stukov ban is really smart. It's an awkward ban here for GLuck now because they could try to ban a warrior, but Gamey actually hasn't shown a proclivity towards any specific warrior. The ban Falstad to try to control globals. I still think that ban's also not the greatest ban ever. If you ban Rhaegar, then you're just limiting the hero pool because they're going to take something else, and then you're not going to have a great support. You're going to limit yourself to, like, I don't know, not a Tyrande, Ario, but like, what are you gonna do with Ario with the Genji? Like, it's not gonna work. So,
hey, what did you ignore my Lily comment?
Hey, I'm not talking about Lily's not. Lily's
the only one buff when every other support was nerf.
Yeah, I remember all the pro gamers feeling like, I saw Lily rework. It was super busted. I'm like, well, I'm still waiting. I don't know. So now Ace. They could try to lock up Rhaegar. I think he's the safest choice here. He's great for Tyrael and whatever solo laner they want. I think Blaze is even not a bad choice here. Malthael is decent. Like, if they get Malthael, they should just pick Uther. And then force GLuck to use the Rhaegar, which doesn't pair well with Genji. Gonna take the Rhaegar Abathur. Okay, that's a little bit of a curveball. Didn't see that one coming with the Hanzo pick. That's interesting.
That's another global that they didn't think at the moment. Now they'll be thinking, huh, why did we ban Falstad?
Yeah, the Falstad ban is a little bit weird, but I actually prefer the Falstad ban to the Abathur ban. I'm finding myself wondering, what does the Abathur pick mean? Are we going to see just another DPS locked in as the final hero here that is Abathur empowers? Like, a strong top laner like an Illidan or something like that.
Or they can just keep the same, the Death God themselves, or they can change it after they see all the picks coming out from GLuck. I think they have some few choices at least.
Abathur's a highly contested hero in Korea in terms of ban involvement, but not because he's strong in comps like this. It's because he's strong with certain comps, especially with Greymane. Not sold on this comp for Ace just yet. We'll see what GLuck wants to do. Gonna take the Malfurion Junkrat, and the Genji Junkrat didn't do well against the Tyrael in game 1. And now with Malfurion, which is less healing and less support for the Relic dive-ins with the Dragon Blade than he had before. I'm not sold on either of these drafts right now, but the Genji, that's the big question mark here, you know? Can he actually burst through? They're not going to have Stukov heals this time, but, you know, still, in terms of sustainability, Rhaegar's decent here, and we're not going to see any Divine Shields. Sank's available, so it's tough.
Mm-hmm. And they have the sustain. They do have sustain, but I don't think sustain was the answer what you need for Milky Way. He was dying instantly. He was getting focused all the time. It is actually Illidan.
I knew it, man. This makes this draft worth it. Like, if it wasn't going to be Illidan, I don't understand why they would pick the Abathur. The only hero that makes sense in this case. Strong, solo top, fast wave clear time, especially with Abathur, it's even faster. When he goes to rotate camps, Abathur can soak the top lane. Has global soak as well. And in team fights, they can go double Rhaegar, they can go double Hanzo. There's a lot of different ways to utilize the Abathur in team fights, control vision on the map with his mines, influence how much damage Genji can do because he's going to interact with a lot of those mines, get slowed, take that damage. And he doesn't have burst healing, he's got the Malfurion heals, GLuck. So, you know, I feel like at the end of the day, Ace got the better draft, and I only believe it because of the Illidan pick.
I like Ace. They got their style. They're classy. If they actually work this one out with their global, maybe it's gonna be even. I'm seeing lots of metamorphosis happening, but maybe even the Hunt, if they really want to go all the way with the globals, try to out-rotate even the Dehaka.
The cool thing about the Hunt is that with no ability to essentially like make Genji invulnerable, and if Cleanse already used, you can just kill him. Like, you can lock him down. Like, his mobility doesn't mean anything if you just instantly onto him. Even in the middle of a team fight, not even necessarily globally, if you get that stun onto him, it's tough for him to get out. And he doesn't have burst heals, doesn't have a divine shield, doesn't have a traditional cleanse to keep himself alive in those moments. So I think the Hunt is actually pretty viable here. So is Metamorphosis, is which we've been seeing more, as you say. Daka gonna go straight up to the top lane. Illidan's actually going bot for now. We'll see if this ends up working out, because Abathur can buy some time, obviously, up here, but it's not going to be ideal. It looks like it's just going to be Illidan staying down for a while, then rotating up, and Abathur will swap. Forcing 3 members down here means they can push mid really hard. You can see Tyrael's going up for a little bit of a pressure up in the top lane, but against a Dehaka, it's not really going to amount to anything.
Just because Hanzo has a great wave clear, of course, a lot less still, but after 4, it's going to be so much easier of a time.
Yeah.
And also that matchup, still Rhaegar can also do the camp. Hanzo, I think Ace with their style here, I think they got everything. They've got wave clear, they got team fight, they got their globals.
It's going to be a Knight camp pushing mid versus Siege camp pushing bottom for this. With the Tribute, you know, in the bottom mid right now, which is going to be announced soon. I wonder what this will mean. Obviously, the Knight camp is stronger. Ace is going to take their own. They're missing a lot of soak during this, you know, in lane pressure. So look at what's happening in the mid lane right now. They're going to take some serious damage on their structures before this camp comes through. In the long term for the Tribute, I think it's better for Ace. But in the short term, as you can see, they're taking a lot of damage here. This is going to stack up right now. Tyrael's rotating down, which means Dehaka gets free reign in the top lane. And Abathur, sure, he can go ahead and burrow his way up there, but not going to be as impactful.
The early game Knights, lots of pros are actually saying it's kind of like a mini boss. Actually, because of the aura, it's so much stronger to push. Also, as a defending, you do a lot less damage.
That's absolutely true. And now you can see Ace has their Knights. That's what I was saying. On the long term, it was better, but the Tribute still hasn't even been announced yet. So neither of these are going to be important for the objective. But Dehaka in the top lane versus Abathur up there, Dehaka is getting way more out of that. Abathur can help push and can help support some of these other lanes, but Dehaka's going to do some serious structural damage during the meantime, more than this Knight camp will, I feel, as you can see here. I mean, I'd love to get a shot of it to see how much damage it's doing. So this is finally cleaned up here. So yeah, you can see like he's already done basically about the same, and he's about to do more. And he can come down whenever he wants. Now, post 10, that's when this comp phase comes online. That's where they have the ability to team fight with Illidan. They have Sanctification and, you know, Rhaegar's Ancestral. But pre-10, you know, GLuck's going to control this, and that's kind of what's going on. You can see the rotation down. Dahaka can come down at any moment. Abathur's just going to be there in terms of symbiosis, his hat.
Let's see how Milky Way actually wants to come from the side. He's standing on the side looking at that angle.
Okay, protection coming through here for Relic, well timed.
Does Dahaka actually want to join?
Thing is, as long as GLuck just buys time here, he doesn't have to come down ASAP. He could just keep doing more damage up there, and they buy time, and they get a further EXP lead, further the time before Ace hits that level 10, which is the big power spike. And I think that's precisely what the idea here is for GLuck. I like how they're using this global right now.
Also got that little bit of extra soak in the mid lane. The Anub'arak went up there for a second.
Yep. Really patient play.
They have so much poke for the harass. They don't really need to have every member near the tribute to stop them from happening. Stop them from taking it. Also, actually, they're going to give it up.
Yeah. And they did this without forcing Dahaka down. So Dahaka got all that extra damage to the wall. Now they're going to do some of their damage to the wall themselves here because they had the later camp. They had this wave pushed. They get one cannon tower.
A drag onto Illidan. Nice. Onto Hanzo actually. Not going to be safely exit. That's going to be a kill.
Genji super low, does go down here. Rush comes in and will grab that with some of that extra damage from the Abathur symbiote. So it's going to be a trade. But they still only got the one cannon tower. I'm pretty sure the Abathur got at least one, plus several extra waves of minions crashing into the wall. It must have damaged it more significantly than this is. The second cannon tower being nearly full health, the gate nearly full health. So these are things we have to talk about. I know everyone's going like, well, I mean, he scratched the gate, like who cares? But this is going to add up when you have a global hero that can really do pressure versus Abathur, who really can't. He's building into like Mule right now at 7 because he wants to help deal with some of the damage that's already been done. Is building into Symbiote, the hat build, as it's called, because that's going to support Illidan. So he's not doing a split push build or anything like that. So he's never going to be able to do what Dahaka does in that solo lane, quote unquote.
Yeah, even harder with the laning changes. Abathur is doing some work, but not as much. Well, he was trying to hide himself there, but gets found out by Illidan.
Gamey eating these Junkrat shots here. Saren coming in, good cleanse. Relic doing a lot of damage, but actually does have to back away. Doesn't have any burst heals here. Protection will save him. So good there to get out, but Gamey will be as lucky. Good shield. And it looks like GLuck is forcing Rush away for now. Relic taps the well. Heads over, gets that Malfurion heal. There's the dash, and he's got the reset. Is he going to go for another one? He does. Goes in. The root was so close to hitting Witcher there. Had that happened, it would have been a double kill for sure. And GLuck's going to win this fight yet again. They're on curse point. And Ace, will they be able to have 10 before this next tribute? I don't think so. And things can open up like crazy if they end up, you know, getting 10, having curse, being able to pressure a boss, for example. There's so much that GLuck can do to snowball this.
That was a close one for both sides. Illidan almost got the kill. Abathur was trying to do the last bit of the damage.
Yeah,
with
the poke almost hit him. It was so close.
It was way too slow. That ninja is just way too fast, you guys. And it's going over the wall. Hanzo also survived, but Hero actually Rush stayed there for such a long time that he didn't have anyone to jump over to.
This was pretty overzealous for Saren. He checks the boss, which is the most important part, but he's going to stasis here, but I don't think he gets out. Oh, so low! I cannot believe he got out. Nope, he does not. Hanzo gets the last auto attack there. Here comes the Riptire very slowly across to try to get the pick here. Dragon Blade popped, but yeah, I mean, they used everything, and they lost Saren. He checked the boss, but there was no reason to try to contest it. They should have just traded, then gotten the tribute afterwards. Even if they don't get the tribute, it's okay. Now Ace is in a position where they can get boss and should theoretically be able to deny the tribute if Witcher pokes at it correctly. As you can see, GLuck's not even going to try to take the tribute. So now Ace can grab this tribute and potentially double boss if they team fight correctly.
Yeah, if they wanted to go for that own boss, they should have started already. And because there's Hanzo from the other side, they knew that it wasn't going to be enough. The timing was going to be awfully weird for them to actually start the boss as soon as possible because they're still missing that big ones, Cocoon, Dragon Blade, Riptire. So Ace is actually going to do double boss.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
It's not being greedy. This is exactly what you do.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. You mess this up and you give a double boss. And then the curse that you thought you were about to have feels so far away. And now, and this happened before. We talked about the big power spike at 10. This happened before. This all started before Ace even locked in 10. Now they've got it. And they've got Metamorphosis, so it is going to be the longer sustained fighting here that they're going for rather than the stuns and the pseudo-global. They're not worried about the global because Dahak hasn't been able to make as much of an impact, minus that first tribute, as he would have liked to. So this is going to get another fort down. GLuck has to kind of passively allow this to happen because a team fight would be bad for them. So maybe our first Twilight Dream of the tournament, but I actually think it makes a lot of sense here.
You need that pressure against Illidan will be coming in. There's that Cocoon onto Regard too. There's no healing for the time being, but Sanctification is available. That's the thing. Hanzo's still alive. Junkrat trying to do some damage from the back line.
Relic trying to get that kill there. The silence was really good. Junkrat doing that extra damage there with the Riptire too. Relic on the chase for Witcher. Rush coming in to try to jump onto him. He's got the symbiote, but not enough damage here. Shields coming through for Gamey. It's going to be one kill on the side of GLuck. This should allow them to get Curse. Boss is still pushing the keep wall all the while, though. Definitely kind of a nuisance for GLuck at the moment.
That fight between the Shimada brothers was a nice one. Genji actually could not really use the D over the wall quite as well as Hanzo.
Yeah.
And which actually hearth back home over there. That was a dangerous one. If Dehaka found that out for a second, he was going to be a dead Hanzo.
So Ace is just going to try to sit through this one. They've already damaged the keep wall, and that's definitely not going to happen to them because all their forts are alive. They're soaking all three lanes. They have an experienced lead. They just need to make sure they don't get dove upon here. Ace trying to counter this. The root does miss. That's super good for Rush. He's actually trying to get Relic here, but look at the stuns coming through. They want this kill. Relic gets out. They're going to commit the Cocoon. Relic dashes away. Already going to see a pick here onto Hanzo. Has Ace overextended? I think the answer is definitely yes. Going to need to back away now. Rush wants this kill onto Saron, but he's just going to burrow here. Cleanse has to be used. He has Metamorphosis. He does have that cooldown reduction. And like KCB going to sneak around here. Will he get out?
I don't think there's an escape for any one of them.
Oh, the Ancestral is so close, but no cigar. GLuck.
And Rush, even though with all that damage, he hasn't picked up a single kill. Metamorphosis for the escape. And going to lose the entire team, except for Avatar, of course.
But before I could even finish the sentence, the only thing they need to do is not die. They decided to fight, and I could see the blood that they saw in their eyes because the fight looked like it might go their way if they got a pick. But they were trying to pick targets that had too much protection. Relic has the escape, so he dashed away, then was able to use the cyber agility a second time to get away. Then you have the attempted pick onto Saron, who actually has a burrow, so he gets out through stasis. And GLuck gets a lot out of this as a result. But still, the fact still stands that Ace didn't lose any keeps from this. They got the keep wall damaged. If they can win another team fight over a cursed tribute, they can bounce back in this game. Boss is not up for another minute here. This next tribute is not going to be a cursed tribute, but Ace wants it really badly because they need to position themselves in such a way to be able to threaten game, to be able to threaten keep with this next curse. So they need to get this. If they lose this, I feel like GLuck kind of snowballs the game away from them.
I think this is their best Genji game so far, because Ace is trying to do that auto attack damage with some pokes from Hanzo, but last time they eliminated Hanzo from the beginning of the fight. Got that clone, which did not do as much. Sanctification was not even used. It was really hard to time that because Malfurion's holding that Twilight Dream. I think that's the big key. Illidan, when he tries to go in, he only does damage to the tank line. He doesn't go in too much because that silence, once that hits, even when the cleanse is out, oftentimes that's on cooldown. So
yeah,
he can't go in too deep. He can't get the kill, and that's what's been happening for the last two team fights.
And the success of the Tyrael and the failure of the Illidan and the Genji in games 1 and 2 for Relic, the reasons why he wasn't able to do as well as he would have liked to was because the engagements for Ace were defensive in nature and they were sustain based. But Ace is trying to get picks. They're trying to be aggressive with this Illidan, which means that Tyrael just simply can't keep up, can't do that extra protection. Tribute spawning down here, bottom right. Already Overlord moving into position here. Is Ace positions for boss. This boss is going to have to go through a fort before it can damage a keep. They're going to give this tribute up. And I don't even think they can get boss. This was a bad rotation for Ace. They get nothing from this. Nothing at all. They will give the tribute, and they will fail to take boss.
I think they're being passive again because they're not 16.
Yeah.
I don't think they're using their power spikes. I think they already got their power spike. Of course, 16 is a big one, but because they have Tyrael, they can actually make the impossible happen. If with the perfect sanctification, I think that's all they need, but they're scared at the moment, not going to risk that too much.
I know everyone's mother, told them never to like cross street without looking twice and like to never take a team fight before you're on the same talent tier as your opponents, but that rule can be broken. And this is the second time I feel for Ace that it should have been broken. They played passively, they lost a tribute, they cannot threaten Curse anymore the next tribute fight, and they have no boss to speak of. Even though the boss wouldn't have really threatened the keep in top lane either, they got nothing from this, and now GLuck is in fantastic position because if Ace messes up a fight here, they easily get Curse Point again and a boss, and probably double boss. Dahaka's soaking bottom right now. Ace has lost their experience lead. GLuck is very happy with the passivity we saw from Ace. So just pushing closer and closer to 20 and more win conditions.
And in this case, seems like Overlord is not doing too much damage, but in fact his pokes are so effective against what Ace is trying to do all the time.
Yeah, dismounting people, moving them around, gaining vision of them. Just poking. Remember, this is the same style we saw the first tribute. Dahaka split pushing, slow down the tribute, look for a play afterwards. Ace is so passive. Here we go. Silence coming through with that isolation. Also Dragon Blade sank. Well placed here. Will it be enough though? He waits to explode that Riptire. Silence here onto Tyrael. Gamey is going to be the first to fall in this team fight, and Relic is able to do free damage. To trade now with Malfurion, dying to Tyrael's trait. But look at this. Now Rush. It's his time to shine in this fight. No one can peel for him. No one can stop the damage.
That was a weird team fight. That Hanzo was doing, was missing lots of the skill shot, but Rush was barely. Oh, he was alone, pushing everything by himself. I am the Illidan. I'm just gonna push all the way. Once that silence was gone, he was like, "This is my time to shine," and just pushing all the way.
Milky Way was too low to peel, and there's no one else on this team that could peel besides Dahaka. I guess you could argue who was not in position to do so. So Rush was able to run away with it. Ace now takes control of the game over this team fight. Carefully will now be on Curse Point. He's going to look for that double boss play that we are talking about, and it's super common to do this when you get a pick and get a boss, especially when you can clear the boss that fast because you got Hanzo. It's the clone coming through. It's going to be Hanzo clone, so this boss is going to go down so fast, but contest coming through from GLuck now.
They have Cocoon and Sanctification on 20. Let's see how they want to handle this.
10 seconds for that Twilight Dream, which is also a huge way to control this boss zone. Okay, Hanzo going to be the first to die. A lot of damage lost here. GLuck has taken control of the boss pit right now. Gamey trying to get in here. There's the Holy Ground. He gets knocked away, though. Milky Way jumping in. GLuck will take this boss now. The lack of Hanzo damage, you can really feel it. Rush trying to do the carry fight like he did last time. Sanctification. Maybe they can turn this around. Good ice block here coming out from Blue Beetle. Ancestral onto Rush, though. And now he's just going to go to town as best as he can. Tyrael Explosion here. Going to do some damage, but he's alone. He's got only the symbiote from Abathur. And what are we watching, GLuck? This is crazy.
That was actually very fun. I enjoyed that team fight a lot because skip through into the middle when they were trying to focus on the Blue Beetle. Focus Blue Beetle and then ice block. Guys, what do we do? And then they were just moving around for a whole second. And then by that time, they already lost a team fight. Still, Hanzo, I think, as a conclusion, thanks for the leash, Ace. GLuck just got the advantage. The cocoon timing was brilliant, though.
Yeah, the sank was good, but it just wasn't as good as it should have been. And the Hanzo clone was also so early that it didn't do any damage in the fight, realistically. Hanzo himself died early, so there was just not enough damage. Illidan can do a lot, but not as much as they wanted him to do when you have all this peel, when you have all this CC, and even with an Abathur on top of him, it just wasn't enough. Going to see the Cocoon used here again on the Hanzo, so no damage in this fight. Isolation as well, and look, finally Milky Way is hitting those chain stuns. There's the big silence coming out. That is going to be game number 3. Going to GLuck, they are going to take match point now in this best of 5. It was a rough game number 2. There were some shaky moments.